More Corroboration, from David Straight. May 12, 2019 by Anna von Reitz. I love David Straight because he tells it straight. No candy corn. No self-aggrandizement. No ego. Just the facts, ma'am. I love patriot guys like him, because they get the job done. They may not be as aware of all the frou-frou-rah of the high courts and diplomacy and history as our group tends to be, but boy, when it comes to nuts and bolts, some of those who are rising up now have got the weather gauge on the carpetbaggers from DC, and they are bearing down on them at last. It's like George S. Patton's character said at the beginning of the movie, Patton, I actually feel sorry for those dirty. Sometimes I just sit at my desk and think of what happens when 300 million Americans wake up and really see what these goons have been up to? And I smile. I want to thank Mike, one of my regular contributors, for sending the link to CPS Fraud and Claiming Your Natural Rights on YouTube at https://youtube.be/saw_RGB and 98JW. This is real help for parents and grandparents struggling to curtail CPS, but it is even much more than that. It's a gem and worth watching clear through. Heck, even though it's long, watch it again. Some of you who are just waking up are still in a daze and you think all this discussion of the Civil War and issues arising out of it makes no sense. That's a 154 years back in the rear-view mirror, you say. How could that still be causing problems for us today? As David Straight points out in this video, every act of Congress since 1861 contains a one-sentence disclaimer, this act shall not affect any right thus previously established. Okay, are all your cogs turning? What does this mean? This is an admission, folks, that everything we've told you about the history and the capacity in which the Congress is acting, is true. They aren't passing any public laws, they are passing private corporate bylaws. And that is all they have been doing since 1861. It's not a theory, but there is a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy against fulfilling the constitutional agreements that the states and the people of this country are owed, a conspiracy against our form of government. About an hour and a half into this video, David lays out exactly how you can lawfully and legally take back control of your county. This is work that will have to be undertaken county by county. So far our group has been concentrating on getting the actual state assemblies resurrected and functioning with the proper political status and with the proper standing and in the right jurisdiction to conduct business, but the assembly of the counties, which takes place in tandem with the assembly of the states, is where the pedal really hits the metal in our daily lives. As you do your paperwork to evidence your return to your birthright political status and join your state assembly, you are also at the same time repopulating your county. Now that you are assembling at that level, what do? David Straight tells you, step by step. 1. Run an ad for 21 days announcing a public meeting to be held at such and such a time, day, and place, at least 30 days out from when you start running the ad, to discuss the administration of county government. 2. Hold the meeting. Tell everyone the history and what has happened and what they can do to regain control of this runaway train. Take a vote to hold public elections. 3. Begin the next cycle of public notice. Run the ad for 21 days and announce that public elections to fill vacant county offices will be held at such and such time, day, and place, at least 30 days out from when you start running the ad. Advertise a place where people can be nominated or self-nominate to fill a roster of county offices, everything from dog catcher to county assembly chairman. 4. Hold the election. Only people claiming their birthright political status and actually living in and having property in the county can vote as an elector. If not everyone wishing to vote has papered up yet, they can sign an elector's declaration at the polls before 2 qualified and verified members of the county assembly saying that they are operating exclusively in their birthright political status as Ohioans, Virginians, etc. and have lived in and owned property in your county since blank the date they were born in or moved to your county. They have to have been living in your county for at least a year and a day to meet the general residency requirement. 5. Then you begin a 90-day notice period. Again, you publish an ad in the newspaper and run it for 21 days, announcing the results of the public election and giving notice to all incumbent county officials that as of such and such time and date, for example, Friday, October 10, 2019, at 4 p.m., please have all personal property boxed up and removed from the public buildings and keys ready to turn in. 6. Public elections always trump private elections. This is perfectly lawful and legal to do, and should meet no resistance. Upon the newly elected cadre taking actual office, they can bring forward a secondary election using the same notice process to collapse the municipal corporation and operate the county in its unincorporated capacity. It's worth saying the obvious: these municipal corporations shouldn't be operating on our soil. The municipal government is supposed to be strictly limited to the 10 miles square of the District of Columbia, not hiring private security agents to patrol the streets of Rye, New York. So, this is the next step, coming right behind and in tandem with the assembling of the actual state assemblies. As more and more counties are restored to operation, the county courts will resume operation as American common law courts. Ditto all the state courts. No more surreptitious and deceitful rule by British maritime courts. What you say? We can get rid of these courts? Not exactly. There will still be legitimate admiralty and maritime court business for them to do, but the end of their meddling with the people and with trespassing on the soil and land is already set aside for them by the U.S. Supreme Court in Milligan ex parte.